Imagine a metal quietly powering the technologies of tomorrow, from solar farms soaking up the sun, to electric vehicles cruising silently on the highway, to the datus, enters hum of AI and 5G networks. That metal is silver, and right now, the forces aligned behind it suggest we might be pushing toward an explosive breakout, the kind of surge that could push prices toward $50, $70 per ounce sooner than most expect. Because here's the hard truth: silver's supply and demand math is being rewritten. Global industrial demand surged in 2024, reaching a record 680. 5 million ounces, driven largely by green energy, electronics, EVs, and increasingly pervasive tech infrastructure. The Silver Institute +2, Wedbush investors +2. Meanwhile, supply hasn't kept pace. For years now, silver has been extracted primarily as a byproduct of mining other metals, a setup that makes supply relatively inelastic. Even as demand climbs, silver output remains stubbornly flat, and the result is a structural deficit the market simply can't ignore. Wedbush investors +2, Silver Phoenix 500 +2. This isn't just about industrial demand. Investors are recognizing silver's dual identity: a vital industrial metal and a precious metal store of value. As macroeconomic uncertainty deepens, as currencies get volatile, and as central banks shift monetary policy, silver begins to shine not only under the hood of technology, but in portfolios as a hedge. Nasdaq +2, business today +2. What makes the case even stronger? Historically, silver has often traded at a significant discount relative to gold. Today's valuation makes silver look attractively underpriced compared to its safe haven sibling, especially given that demand for physical and industrial silver continues to mount. Nasdaq +2, trading view +2. So the next time you hear skeptics ask whether silver can really break out, ask them this: can industrial demand continue growing while supply remains constrained? As long as the answer stays yes, silver isn't just quietly creeping up the value ladder, it's being squeezed upward. That squeeze, combined with growing investor recognition, could well drive silver toward the $50, $70 per ounce range, perhaps even beyond. Imagine a world where a metal gleaming, undervalued, overlooked suddenly becomes the backbone of tomorrow's technology and clean energy revolution. Right now, that metal is silver, and 2025 might just mark the moment it breaks out into the mainstream. We are witnessing demand for silver unlike any time before. In 2024, global industrial demand for silver surged to a record 680. 5 million ounces, the fourth year in a row of record-setting industrial consumption. The Silver Institute +1 industries powering the green economy: solar panels, electric vehicle infrastructure, charging stations, grid modernization are swallowing vast quantities of silver. On top of that, the explosion of electronics, AI-driven tech, 5G networks, and advanced semiconductors means silver is now more essential than ever. Wedbush investors +2, CME Group +2, but demand is only half the picture. On the supply side, we have a structural bottleneck. For years, silver supply has failed to keep up. Mine production has largely stagnated, ore grades are falling, and new mines are expensive and slow to bring online. Meanwhile, most silver is produced as a byproduct of mining for other metals, making supply naturally inelastic and unable to respond quickly to surging demand. Metal news +2, Silver Phoenix 500 +2. What this means is a persistent and growing supply deficit. 2024 alone saw a shortfall of nearly 149 million ounces. The Silver Institute +2, EBC Financial Group +2. This mismatch: skyrocketing demand vs constrained supply is a classic recipe for a rally. In 2025, silver has already begun to reflect these fundamentals. Many analysts describe the market as ripe for growth. CME Group +2, Mint +2. Beyond industrial demand, macroeconomic factors are adding fuel. With global interest rate moves in flux and inflationary pressures real, precious metals are once again in favor as hedges. Silver, unlike gold, offers a dual edge. It's both a crucial industrial input and a store of value. For investors looking for a relatively undervalued entry into metals, silver stands out. IG, COM plus 2 Mint plus 2, and here's a compelling thought. As solar power installations explode worldwide, and as green infrastructure, EVs, and electronics continue their exponential growth, silver demand could remain elevated for years. That long-term structural shift in demand, paired with supply constraints that aren't easily reversed, suggests that silver is not just rallying, it may be entering a sustained bull run. So are we on the verge of a massive silver rally in 2025? All the pieces seem to be falling into place. Industrial demand surging, supply under pressure, macroeconomic tailwinds strengthening. For those who see value beyond the noise and volatility, this could be the moment silver steps into the spotlight. We are seeing a convergence of forces around silver that few have truly internalized: a structural supply squeeze colliding with a demand explosion driven by real-world innovation. Right now, the imbalance between demand and supply is so sharp, calling what's happening a shortage may actually understate the scale. Industrial demand has soared, and it's not stopping. Silver is no longer a niche metal used only for jewelry or silver, where it's become critical infrastructure for a new era of technology. Global demand this year from sectors like solar panels, photovoltaics, EV charging infrastructure, semiconductors, 5G/EOT, medical technology, and broader electronics is rising fast. Wedbush investors plus 2 metal. COM plus 2. More than half of all silver consumption is now industrial. Bullion exchanges plus 2. Mining technology insights plus 2 mean, while supply simply isn't keeping up. Most silver on the market is produced as a byproduct of mining other metals, which means when demand surges, supply cannot easily be ramped up to match. Wedbush investors plus 2. Physical gold plus 2. Mining output has been mostly flat or declining. Ore grades are lower, new mining projects face long lead times, environmental regulation, and shrinking investment into silver-specific mines. Metal, COM plus 2. Physical gold plus 2 at the same time, recycling often presented as silver's safety valve, is proving woefully insufficient. Only a modest portion of global silver supply comes from recycled sources, and much of silver's new usage in tiny electronics, complex PV cells, EV components, AI hardware ends up dissipated in devices, making it nearly impossible to recover economically. Physical gold plus 2. Wedbush investors plus 2. What this means is not just a temporary hiccup, but a structural deficit that looks set to deepen. Some market research firms estimate that the shortfall could reach between 95 and 117 million ounces in 2025 alone. Wedbush investors plus 2. Bullion exchanges plus 2. Inventory levels the above ground stock of silver are shrinking fast. Metal, COM plus 2. Silver Phoenix 500 plus 2 combine that with rising demand for renewable energy, electrification, advanced electronics and infrastructure, and we're witnessing a fundamental shift. As solar panel production ramps up globally, each panel requires a non-trivial amount of silver. As electric vehicles become more common and charging infrastructure expands, silver's role in power electronics, wiring, and EV systems makes it nearly irreplaceable. Wedbush investors plus 2. The Tribune plus 2. Even sectors beyond green energy are contributing. Data centers, AI hardware, semiconductors, 5G, and EOT devices all depend on silver's unique electrical and thermal conductivity. These are not nice to have, they are critical. Mining technology insights plus 2. Wedbush investors plus 2. On the investor side, it's no surprise interest is rising. As supply tightens and industrial demand continues to climb, price volatility is giving way to structural upward pressure. Some analysts now project that silver prices, already up significantly this year, could continue to rise for the foreseeable future. CME Group +2 Silver Phoenix 500 +2 for anyone watching metals markets closely. This is not about short-term speculation or hype. This is about long-term structural change. The world is electrifying, going renewable, digitizing, and silver sits at the crossroads of all these transitions. This moment is rare. Few commodities combine industrial indispensability, limited supply elasticity, and growing macro demand. Silver, once overlooked by many, is becoming central to the next wave of technological and infrastructural transformation. We might be standing at the threshold of a major run for silver, and the forces lining up suggest this is no ordinary rally. The dynamics now point toward a real possibility. Silver could be on the verge of a significant breakout. Industrial demand for silver is surging like never before. In 2024, global industrial use of silver hit fresh record highs, driven by explosive growth in renewable energy deployment, electric vehicles, AI-driven electronics, and upgraded tech infrastructure. The Silver Institute +2 Investing. India +2 Silver isn't just a precious metal, it is the metal powering solar panels, EV charging networks, high-grade electronics, and the backbone of the green tech revolution. CME Group +2 Bullion World +2, but here's the crux. Supply is failing to keep up. For years, silver production has lagged behind demand, creating recurring structural deficits. IPMI Org +2, the Pilot News +2. Most of the world's silver is produced as a byproduct of mining other metals, meaning you can't just turn up the dial on silver output when prices rise. The Pilot News +1 ore grades are declining, new mines are costly and slow to bring online, and mining investment has been constrained. The Pilot News +1 as a result, supply remains inelastic even as demand keeps climbing. At the same time, silver is increasingly seen as more than just an industrial input. It's becoming a strategic asset. With global economic uncertainty, currency fluctuations, and potential shifts in interest rates, many investors are turning to silver as a hedge similar to gold, but with an edge. Because silver combines monetary value with industrial utility, it appeals both to traditional investors and those betting on long-term tech and energy infrastructure growth. Wedbush Investors +2 Investing. +2, the result of this dual pressure, demand explosion, and constrained supply is tightening inventories and growing tight metal markets. Stockpiles are being drawn down, and physical supply is getting harder to secure, especially for immediate delivery. Wedbush Investors +1. This isn't just speculation. The structural underpinnings are real, measurable, and intensifying. Moreover, the timing could be ideal. As green energy adoption accelerates globally, as EV penetration deepens, as data enters AI and electronics proliferate, the demand for silver may not just rise, but accelerate. Meanwhile, supply constraints are unlikely to ease rapidly, given long mine development cycles, declining ore quality, and rising costs. If current trends hold, silver could see a dramatic re-rating. What was once undervalued may become a must-have commodity. What was a niche precious metal could become central to the global technological and energy transition. For investors and long-term visionaries, that potential shift could represent one of the most compelling opportunities in metals markets today.